Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways around being out here at practice. I think that everybody, whether that's a first year, second year, 10 year, um, we think that practice is important, but obviously there's circumstances around being out here and not being out here, and how you can stay up with the installation. The beginning part of camp, there is installation. It's a repeat from the spring, so hopefully any player that's not out here can stay engaged and continue to learn and get the information that they need, and then be ready when they get back. I think that's the important thing, and that's what is focusing on doing everything that you can to get back as quickly as possible. But also when you do get back, there's not a big drop off of information lost when you get back.
Like a guy like Keon White, what have you seen from him? What did you learn about him, and how good can this kid be?
Well, I mean, I love Keon's attitude. He's a worker. He's a here early. He's got a routine that I think has worked for him. He practices hard. He's conditioned. So again, as we work through this and progress, and we're just a couple days into this, but I think Keon's got a great attitude. I love kind of just being able to coach him. He's very receptive he's a very coachable player.
He's always been very straightforward with us. Is he like that with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think most everybody, I would imagine, or hopeful is straightforward. I mean, Keon, there's not a lot of fluff to him. I mean, our conversations are mostly, he wants to know football. He wants to talk football. That's his profession. That's his career. That's his passion. So we talk a lot of football, and, I've enjoyed getting to know him.
Mike, what stuck out to you about Jared Wilson this offseason?
I think that he's a quick learner. He's been able to learn two positions inside, as far as center and guard. And I would say, to Karen's question, he was one of those players that maybe wasn't out there as much on the field in the spring, but really was able to grasp it mentally and allow that to carry over when he had an opportunity to be on the field. So he was able to show, for a young player, some of those things, to be able to be ready when he got his opportunity to get on the field.
Christian Barmore said that he's dropped, I don't know, he's around 305, that's where he wants to play. Is that something that you guys wanted from him?
It's a group effort with our players, and kind of seeing where they're at in the spring. That's why we think that the spring is important to evaluate their conditioning level, their weight, their strength, how they're able to do their job. And we have conversations, myself and Frank, with the players and where they end up, and we'll try to see what's best for each guy.
Like with Chase on, he seems almost young for a guy going into year 6. Did you see any untapped potential the way he finished last season in Vegas?
I think that's probably a good way to look at it. It takes some players a little longer than it takes others, and I would say that I'm hopeful that his best football is in front of him. I'm very excited about how he came in, and personality-wise, and what he's shown on the field thus far. So that's an interesting, fun room to be around. You mentioned Keon and KC, and Harold and Anthony's a veteran, and then we've got some younger guys in there as well.
Listening to some of the guys talk yesterday, they were saying we were getting to know each other, and obviously that ties to one of your objectives of forming a team. I'm curious where that came from in your coaching philosophy in terms of putting that as an important thing.
We spent a lot of time together. It's a team sport. We need everybody to function properly. We need them at the right time to put the team first. We're going to ask everybody to make tough decisions, and hopefully, the better that you know somebody, understand who they're playing for and what they're doing and who they're trying to support, and the things that we have going on outside of here. There's a lot of similarities. That the more you get to know somebody, I think the better it is to work with them.
Just to follow up on that, specific to the locker room, how intentional are you in terms of the way you set it up, like putting certain guys together, or is it just sort of easy? I
think it's positionally. I think that right now it's positionally the best of our ability. We're going to get a new locker room. We'll have a ton of space, and we'll be able to, I think, get a little bit more creative in April when we're able to get in there. We have a limited amount of space in the locker room that we have now.
Matt Collins, so we saw him here yesterday with cleats off, which is pretty rare for him. So is he coming back anytime soon?
And he won't be out there today. Mac won't be out there today. That I can guarantee you. But we'll see where that goes. He's working extremely hard, and he's a player that, again, I think that he's stayed engaged, and he's really been able to, when you're on these lists, you can't even do the walkthroughs. So he has to be in the meetings, and then he kind of works out on a separate field, and then he can't even be engaged in the walkthrough. So he just has to watch and be able to process the information. But he's a pro. He spends a lot of time here. I've seen him mentoring and working with the younger guys as well.
Mike, these as a coach, these like pop quizzes that you like to give guys on the spot and that kind of thing. How big of a tool is that for you as a coach, and kind of what's the overall purpose of that style, I guess?
Well, we want to make sure that everybody's stimulated, that they stay engaged. It's called direct teaching, being able to spit it back the same way that we give you the information. And again, that takes time. Feel like it's when a player does know that they answer confidently, they answer clearly, and it gives them confidence, but it also gives the players that they're out there with confidence that they know what they're doing. And if they don't know, I just tell them, say, I don't know, and then I'm allowed to. That's our job now, to come in as teachers and to reapply the information and get it to them until they're able to process it. But when guys start answering questions in front of the teammates correctly, you start to see their confidence go up, and the other players are excited about going out there and playing with them.
I watched the question about Hollins. So with a veteran player like he is, with your team since March, but haven't been able to practice much, how do you evaluate his potential impact on the field?
Well, that would just be a prediction, and I'm not big into predictions, so we'll just evaluate him when he's out there. I can evaluate the person. I can evaluate his character off the field, the way that he works in the weight room, the way that he carries himself in a meeting and around the building, and his interactions with everybody in the building. But right now, anything that would be speculation on the field. So when he's out there, then we'll be able to evaluate him as a player.
Hey, Mike, we've heard receivers the last couple of days talk about how Stephon Diggs has kind of raised the bar in that room. The guys who practice against him, the cornerbacks, how much does a player like that, elite production skills, expedite their development, challenge them?
Just trying to create a competitive environment that everybody's working together, no different than an offensive lineman, defensive lineman. It's why we like to practice against other teams. There's other players around the league that play the same position, but they do it with a different skill set. They have a different size, speed, length, route craft, whatever that may be. So those are good opportunities for our players to see other players around the league and ones that similar to hopefully ones that we would play in the season.
After reviewing the tape yesterday, how did you feel the offense did in terms of maximizing first down opportunities, and what will the focus be today situationally?
We're going to add third down today. The practices, there's, guys, we go through this all the time. There's going to be some good plays, there's going to be bad ones, and then obviously the ones that, we have to try to eliminate. You have to, I think they started out okay, and then I don't think we finished as well as we started, and that's got to change, and that has to understand that we're going to try to, schedule the practices the same way the games would. So, if we're not finishing a practice, and we have to hopefully fix that and correct it so that we can finish in the game, we can pick up some crucial first downs if we're leading, or if we're in a 2-minute situation and we need some plays to go down there and get a score. But today will be a lighter day so that you guys can understand that this will be more of a walkthrough. But again, it's important, I think, to see how our team responds and are able to work in that capacity. I'm hopeful that we can get something out of this and come back and really have some speed tomorrow and really have a good one tomorrow before day off on Sunday.
We didn't see Carlton Davis out there yesterday. I know he started on one of the lists. Was that just easing him back in?
Yeah, just kind of maintenance and continue to kind of give him what he needs as part of a plan. And, again, that's my job each and every day is to figure out what everybody's going to do and how they're going to contribute each day to us winning.
Like a while back, you told us that the team would be active in trying to improve the team down the road, picking up players here and there as needed. When a guy like Christian Wilkins becomes available, is that like someone you would kick the tires on?
Well, I mean, I think we'll have a conversation. Again, this is pretty new, so I don't have all the information on what where Christian is. I've know Christian. I've recruited him when he was up here in the area in Connecticut and going to high school. So, I'm sure we'll have a conversation about it.
Still getting to know some of the new players you brought in. I'm curious with Robert Spillane, what would you say some of his strengths are as a player?
He's a very competitive, prideful leader, and he plays with a lot of energy, plays with passion. Great communicator, plays with a level of violence in the run game, and I think he's got a little level of versatility to him too.
Just kind of building on that, are there specific traits or body types that you look for in linebackers?
Just ones that can tackle and find the football. Can they blitz? Can they cover? There's a lot of matchups now with running backs that people are trying to create. So can they cover? The communication, body types, I think, are all different shapes and sizes. I think nowadays, I don't think that there's a specific size. It's the ability to do their job. Can they take on blocks? Can they slip box? What are their instincts like, and their ability to tackle not only in the box but in the open field. They're going to make you play sideline to sideline, play perimeter runs and outside zones and swings and all this other stuff. So there's a level of versatility I think that's critical nowadays.
Thanks, Mike.